Warm welcome on behalf of IIT Delhi Alumni Association, Mumbai and Pune chapter, and also Maharashtra Pollution Control Board. Both of us, we welcome you all to this webinar and the launch of the Mahaparivesh series of workshops for enhancing environmental quality in Maharashtra cities. We'll be starting in a short while. We are waiting for more people to join, and then our Honorable Member Secretary Sir MPCB will join us and address us. So we'll start in another 3 minutes. So thank you for joining once again.
सर आता मी तो जॉईन झालो आहे, पुन्हा त्यांना मेल पाठवायला लावू. सर वो ते छोटं हे आहे ना, तिथे जॉईन करा ना, ते तिथे आहे एकदम त्या मेलवर. त्यांचं जे साईट आली आहे ना त्याच्यावरच आहे सर्व. हो 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 ओके, मी पुन्हा सांगतो सर त्यांना, पुन्हा सांगतो. गीतांजलि, वो सर का वेब पेज ब्लॉक हो रहा, वेब पेज ब्लॉक करके आ रहा, ज्वाइन करने का नहीं हो रहा. MS साहब का वो ज्वाइन करने का ट्राई कर रहे हैं पर वेब पेज ब्लॉक करके बता रहा. फिर से एक बार भेजो ना आप.
Okay sir, I'll just send you once again. I'll just send the link once again to MS sir.
वो ज्वाइन करने 10 मिनट हो रहे, वो ज्वाइन नहीं हो रहे.
Okay.
भेजा. भेजा क्या मैडम?
हाँ सर, आई एम जस्ट सेंडिंग इट. चला गया है सर.
वो ms@mpcb.gov पे गया है ना?
Yes sir, yes sir. Sir, it is gone once again.
उनका जीमेल आईडी है क्या आपके पास?
सर आई डोंट हैव इस. आप दे दीजिए सर, आई विल सेंड इट.
हेलो,
मोबाइल से कर दो, मोबाइल से कर दो.
जॉईन झाले का सर? हॅलो हॅलो नाही नाही हॅलो 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 हेलो गीतांजलि सर ज्वाइन हुए क्या देखो तो।
हाँ सर, आई जस्ट हैव अ लुक। अभी तो आई कांट सी सर, सर नहीं दिख रहे हैं सर यहाँ पे।
Gitanjali, you start let him
Okay.
join because already
Okay, we'll start sir.
गीतांजलि just see sir is joining.
Yeah, just wait another minute, then we'll ask him to, whenever he join, we'll give him space.
I still can't see sir here. सर ने अभी नहीं ज्वाइन किया है।
नहीं डाला है sir. गीतांजलि सर ज्वाइन हुए, वो दिख रहे हैं आपको।
ओके, आई एम ट्राइंग टू सी कि सर पैनलिस्ट में हैं क्या। Sir, should we start then if sir has joined?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So good afternoon everyone. Once again, very warm welcome and greetings from IIT Delhi Alumni Association and Maharashtra Pollution Control Board to mark our 74th Independence Day and Diamond Jubilee celebration of IIT Delhi. IIT Delhi Alumni Association, Mumbai and Pune chapters along with Maharashtra Pollution Control Board have launched the Mahaparivesh series of workshops for enhancing environmental quality in Maharashtra cities. So each month the specific theme under the National Clean Air Program would be taken up and the lecture would be delivered by an expert. So today we are witnessing the launch of this prestigious event and I am very pleased to welcome the Honorable Member Secretary Maharashtra Pollution Control Board, Dr. Maude Ghare, Director Air Pollution Control Board, Maharashtra Pollution Control Board, Dr. Saha, ex-Additional Director CPCB, currently with MOEFCC, our President Mr. Ravindra Kumar, Professor Prasad Modak, ex-IIT Bombay and currently with EMC, and also the delegates from various institutions, the alumni from IIT Delhi and the MPCB officers. I can also see colleagues from NEERI. So once again, a very warm welcome everyone. And now I would request the President, IIT Delhi Alumni Association, Mr. Ravindra Kumar, for his introductory address. Mr. Ravindra Kumar.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Gitanjali Kaushik. I'm very happy that this event, Mahaparivesh series of workshop for enhancing environment and quality in Maharashtra city is the first event when this is the first event when IIT Delhi is celebrating its Diamond Jubilee celebration. I welcome all the distinguished speaker, panelists, attendees, participants, distinguished alumni, and other members of Maharashtra Pollution Control Boards to take the time to come on the come for this very relevant and very important topic of the enhancing environmental quality in Maharashtra cities. The IIT Delhi Alumni Association is of 52,000 graduates we are across the world, and some of the alumni you may be knowing, like Dr. Raghuram Rajan, who was the former RBI governor. Then we have Rajat Gupta. He was the first Indian who had any global organization. He was heading the McKinsey in USA. Then we have Bini Bansal, Jayant Sinha. Bini Bansal Flipkart. Jayant Sinha was he's the MP and he's the current MP and is chairman of one parliament subcommittee. Earlier he was Minister of State Civil Aviation. And very other distinguished alumnus are there across the world. We are spread. So I am very privileged and honored to be here and representing their voice and thoughts into this webinar. I would like to talk to you first about my alma mater, IIT Delhi, which recently it has been ranked #1 institute in the world. #1 institute as far the entrepreneurship is concerned. We are the #1 in India and among the first 10 institute across the world. So that is the IIT Delhi, the standing of the IIT Delhi in academic field, and you have seen the QS ranking. Also, we had a 47th QS ranking a few years last year in science and technology. But I would like to talk about the more about my department. I am also graduate of IIT Delhi 87 and a BTech Civil. My tenure was, I had not worked much as a technocrat. I was the 5 years as a technocrat, 15 years I was a bureaucrat, and last 13 years I'm contributing to the society and to myself as an entrepreneur. Now, imaging department, IIT Delhi, have regularly played a very important role in the environment. And you may be knowing that CEPA Comprehensive Environment Policy Index was designed by the professor. Professor Modak. Sorry, the name I'm just slipping from my mind.
His name is Professor Arvind Nema.
Nema, okay. Thank you for correcting me. Was designed along with the CPCB, and the IIT Delhi is a part of various emission inventory and source appointment studies. And amongst the IIT Delhi faculty, Professor Mukesh Karre has been the expert member of committee for city action plans. So that is some brief from my alma mater. Regarding the activities which we would like to, IIT Delhi Alumni as an organization would like to have with the Maharashtra Pollution Control Board, there are 3 activities we have planned. That is my 2 chapters. IIT Delhi Alumni Mumbai and Pune chapter will be engaged in organizing Mahapravesh series of workshops. And then we have one plan, Maha Cities Conclave in March 2021 to review progress of different cities and taking initiative on quality and award. And that award will be given to the best 3 cities. And we'll also prepare case studies based on the successful projects undertaken by these 3 cities. Then third activity, we are planning to put a Maha Yuva link on MPCB site, displaying videos of the expert talks on air quality for enhancing students' awareness and engagement. And we have already a lot of distinguished experts and panel who have spent a considerable time on this subject, and with a caveat that I'm not a subject expert, but just I would like to add one point here that that recently the environment impact assessment 2020 environment has become very important because of the COVID-19 environment has, and a lot of news we are reading that environment has that Mother Nature under repair or is recently environment, the public health and the mental health. These are become the issues in the COVID time, and so this the event which we are planning is going to have a very profound impact. And what I feel that personally that that any implementation, the policy is a decision which is taken keeping in the future into mind. So, but implementation will happen only when that it is accepted by the people, and the acceptance will happen when it become a cultural norm. During the Diamond Jubilee celebration, Honorable Vice President of India has said, the nature and culture determine the future of the humanity. So I endorse the view of the given by the Honorable Vice President that yes, the nature, or we can call the environment, are going to play a big role. Yeah, in the recent past, because of our Western values and cultural, we have we have put less importance onto the interconnectedness and interconnectedness and interrelatedness of the nature and the human beings. So I think the COVID-19 has come and the great lesson us to rectify that behavior of the humankind. And with that, I just quote Tibet spiritual leader Dalai Lama. He has stated that there is a need to deal with the climate change and other environment challenge with the help of scientific studies and spiritual teaching. And equally important, Gandhiji trusteeship, which says that whatever resources are available to satisfy our needs, we have to safeguard all resources as the trustees. So with that, I end my talk, and I wish you a very great success to this Mahapravesh series of workshop. And I am sure that it will impact the humanity, especially the humanity, and in particular will change the perception of the people about the environment and how important is the environment and the activities which will be planned, and the awareness and education and the which will shared by the expert panel on this issue will have a great profounding impact, and will look forward for a very meaningful engagement association with Maharashtra Pollution Control Board. And I'm one more time, I'm thank you all the panelists, experts, and the honorable members, Secretary Mr. Sri E. Ravindran, Member Secretary, and I'm Dr. V.M. Dr. Deepankar Shah and Professor Prasad Modar to present here and give there. And over to Gitanjali. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir, for your warm and introductory remarks. Now, I would request Dr. Mot Ghare, Joint Director, Air Pollution Control, Maharashtra Pollution Control Board, for his address. Dr. Mot Ghare has a BE in Civil Engineering and his MTech and PhD in Environmental Engineering. He has almost 24 years of experience with the Maharashtra Pollution Control Board in various capacities, and Dr. Mot Ghare kindly agreed for the launch of this event. Sir, we are very happy to be associated, and I invite you for your remarks, please, Dr. Mot.
Thank you, Gitanjali. Honorable Ravinder Kumar, President, IIT Delhi Alumni Association. Honorable Member Secretary of Maharashtra Pollution Control Board, E. Ravindran sir. My colleagues, Dr. Shah, Modak sir, Gitanjali, and all my participants. It's a great honor for me and my MPCB to launch this Mahaparivesh series for the awareness program and outreach program. You know, the government of India has declared National Clean Air Program, and out of 102 cities, 18 cities are from Maharashtra. You must be surprised why Maharashtra is so polluted. It's not that. You know, the highest number of monitoring networks are in Maharashtra, and we are in a public domain, and most urbanized state, and it is in a public domain, and some urbanization is occur, our air quality get deteriorated. But no, now we are in association in NIRI, IIT Bombay, and other my colleagues, senior colleagues and association. We have launched a massive National Clean Air Program, upgradation program, and we are happy to know that we have all the 17 cities action plan has been approved by the government, by Delhi, and we have a chief secretary level committee, we have a principal secretary level committee and local level committee. We meet monthly, and we see the progress in a public domain. Now, in the 15th Finance Commission, 6 cities have been chosen for the funding of this, and almost 600 crores will be invested in National Clean Air Program. Our main motto in this is the strengthening of the institutional framework, source cause of analysis of air pollution, progress of action plan, and quantification of air quality improvement. Under the able leadership of our Honorable Chairman, Sudhir Srivastava, our Member Secretary, Dr. E. Ravindran, and our dynamic Honorable Minister, Adityaji Thackeray, and State Minister Bansode sir, we have hope that we'll be able to come with a clean action air plan of the city. I once again thank IIT Alumni Association and our Member Secretary for supporting this program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Modghare. Very detailed remarks, and we all are very hopeful that soon all the cities will be able to control their levels, and we will be well within the deadline of 2022. So thank you so much. Now I would request our Honorable Member Secretary Shri E. Ravindran to kindly launch the Mahaparivesh series, and I request him for his keynote address. Sir, kindly give us your remarks, please. Dr. Sir, Ravindran sir, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think, is it audible, clear?
Sir, please, you're clear. Yes, sir.
Right. I formally declare that it's open. And also I must, my colleagues are there. Mr. Ravindra Kumar is there and Mr. Prasad is there and Dr. Shaw is there. It's very happy to meet them on this platform. That's great. And as you know that India's being a big, populous and diverse country, and you see that at present we have more than 53 million plus cities. The biggest challenges after globalizations and liberalizations came in 1990, and afterwards the cities are grown very rapidly when compared to other countries like Western countries or maybe US. The rapid growth of the Indian cities were very fast, and it's very fast way. And especially in the East Asian countries, we can take it. It's not only here. If you look at it, even Dhaka, Dhaka also grown very fast. In that, if you see that 30 years before, what was the population in Dhaka and what is the population today? It's almost 7 to 8 times. We can't imagine. So in the East Asian countries are facing this kind of rapid growth of urban areas, as well as the inflows of the population is very high, and space occupancy is very less when compared to square feet level. So that's the biggest challenge we are facing. If you look at it, the pollution angle or maybe the environmental angle into that, what much of waste is created by the Indian cities? If you look at it, because of the huge population, almost 50% of Maharashtra population lives in urban area, and we are having almost 390 urban agglomerations, we can say, or municipalities or corporations, and we have almost 26 major corporations. And these are the major urban agglomerations. We are giving more potential pollutions, we can say. And if you look at it, the cities like Mumbai and Pune or bigger cities like Aurangabad or Nagpur, and look at the volume of waste generated. It may not be a small countries may not generate this kind of waste. You see that almost 23,000 tons per day is a solid waste generated in Maharashtra. Almost we can say that 9,000 MLD of sewage waste is generated. This is one sort of pollution angle. Look at the number of vehicles movement, which actually contribute more air pollutions. Almost 30% of the air pollution comes from the transport. Imagine that how many vehicles flying in the Mumbai alone. And if you look at such urbanized area, the air pollution contribution is too high. And apart from that, you see that urban cities are so acclimatized that they have to compulsory use the energy for the conditioning of the space. Because when you take a householding or any commercial space, almost 60% of the energy is used only for this conditioning of space, either heating or cooling purposes. So if you look at that, the volume of carbon footprint into looking at only for this domestic or commercial purposes is too high in the cities. And it gives an urban highland effect it gives, so that temperature differences are there. It goes to the health effect of the human being. So different kind of health effects we face. Now look at what actually Maharashtra is taking on this particular cities. So as Modghare has already briefed about what's the program, I'm not going much detail into that, but let me give one or two important where Maharashtra is progressing in handling the cities. So we are in looking at the urban infrastructure. Maybe I can just go much better infrastructure when compared to other parts of the country. And also when you look at the industrialized, I think Maharashtra is much better way in that. When we have the 17 cities which is selected in the NCAP program, almost all the cities are proactively participating into that. And because of the more awareness and more NGOs or maybe citizen participation is too high in some of the cities, so the awareness level is very high. So they are proactively participating into the this policy. The NCAP program is not a 1 day or 1 year or maybe 5 years which we can do it, because when you look at it, the national determined contribution of the India to the UN, it's not easy to reduce the carbon footprint very quickly. So in that sense, we have a very long battle against climate change. We have a long battle against the carbon footprint. We have long battle against the solid waste and liquid waste management. With that, I think our government is taking very strong and very continuous efforts to reduce all these things. And Maharashtra being the leading state in the country, and it will definitely will continue again to be leader in even tackling the environmental issues and climate change issues. With this remarks, I will close this. And I must thank everyone giving this opportunity, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member Secretary, sir. It was great to have you launch these workshop series. We are very, very motivated. Thank you so much for joining us once again. Now we'll have the first expert address, and that expert address will be given by Dr. Saha. Dr. Saha was Scientist T and former Additional Director with the Central Pollution Control Board. From 2009 to 2018, he was the head of Air Laboratory Division at the Central Pollution Control Board. And since 1998, he was associated with CPCB in various capacities. He prepared the emergency action plans for the cities of Kanpur and Agra. He set up the lab of CPCB lab in Kanpur and also the ambient air monitoring stations in Agra. He has a master's degree and PhD degree from University of Calcutta. Currently, he is as an expert Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change, and he's really kind that he gives us his expert remarks and his guidance whenever we approach him. So Dr. Saha, once again, a very warm welcome from IIT Delhi Alumni Association and Maharashtra Pollution Control Board. Sir, we would request you that you please give your expert address. Mr. Satish, we could start with sir's presentation.
Thank you so much, MS sir. Really, आपसे मुलाकात तो हुआ नहीं था, but मुलाकात तो होगा. Modgare साहब के साथ I worked a lot, and those are real sweet memories with me. Modak साहब तो और भी ज़्यादा जानते हैं. We have worked 30 years, around 30 years in the environment field. And Ravinder ji, आपके address मेरे को बहुत अच्छा लगा. Whatever we are doing, we're doing for the people, and it is a people who has to participate. Really, we have to match our culture with our nature. That is the real intake I have taken to that, really. So, congratulations to the Mahaparivesh launching of series of workshops for enhancing environmental quality in Maharashtra cities. And once we are able to develop the Maharashtra, it should be because they are the pioneer in many things since freedom fighting also. And as on date also, they will be, they are leading the state in a more frontliner way. And because I am really happy with the word, the environment they have used. Please place the slide. I do not know why it is not working. The thing is that we have to take our past with us. This is the strong belief that I carry in my mind everywhere I go. That means total integration is required, and that's why the environment word is rightly chosen, the Mahaparivesh. And it's really a Maha culture for us, Maha traditional culture we have to bring back. That is the thing, what I have learned in our 30 years of working with CPCB particularly. And it is the Vedas also explained that we have to revolve around the ingredients we are having with us. The 5 ingredients that we cannot deny, whatever the progress we made in different fields and technologies, but we have to move around with the 5 ingredients that was written in our Ved also. So please keep those. At least COVID pandemic has told us our family is the first society. Our local is the first determining factor, and probably we have forgotten our past, and that's why it's a big lesson for us that we were kept all in that home, and others were freely moving into in our environment freely, and that's why we should not be so free to accommodate and take advantage of the technology, because we have a lot of tested technologies. Those should be taken care to local to local, and the local should be vocal. If those are the words we taken into granted, we can't reduce lot of carbon footprint. This is also one of my personal belief, staying and working with them. And these 5 ingredients I was talking about, the earth, we don't have second earth on the earth. On the land, the most neglected one is the land. We will come through the discussion where we will come. Then we will get the information, the land, how much is land is contributing to our air pollution, and we are really not taken into consideration for our development of our land. And the land is the only productive area. It supports our food. And the land is a composition of water and air also. So environment is a single unit, one unit, and let us not really separate all these constituents from us. Even our body is made up of these 5 constituents, and we let us take balance in consideration of these things in the thing. Next slide, please. So our fundamental duties also says the thing. It is our responsibility to participate, guard our environment. And that's why wherever I go, I show these 3 slides, 2 on our tradition, what it says, what our EPA says, and what is our rules says. These 3 slides I used to tell so that it can make a balance on the link between the past and present, and so that we can have better future, better quality of life in this earth. Next. So EPA also says the same thing. It has not really separated the components of the environment, but looking only into the air is somehow may not be the correct word. Overall environment development will improve the air quality and quality of life. Let that perspective once, please let us think. And I went through the entire document of the NCAP also. It also speaks of the similar way. It is asking to take the help of GIS, remote sensing, and what are the resources we are having. Then ingredient and make inbuilt components, the integration of all those things. Then it is to be considered and taken for the implementation so that the socio-economic upliftment can be there. The focus is the socio-economic aspect. We are already talking about these cities and urban areas, and Madhukar Sahab has rightly said, because they are having the no number of stations, more number of cities have been identified. We don't have adequate number of stations. In the rural areas, those are not there, are not in the front line. And same with the COVID thing also, the more tests we confirm, carry out, the more will be the cases. It again depends upon the how much monitoring or testing is being carried out in the city. With this background, let's start our making the presentation. I do not know why it is not moving. Please place the slide. So I spoke because I was told it is basically because this group today we will be dealing with one subject, NCAP. NCAP is known to all. It is more than 1.5 years old now, and people are aware what is NCAP, what is the components of that. Everything is aware. Just I will go through the recapitulation of the process. So next, please. So key issues is the components. When we discuss about the component, the aspects of environmental components, the implications is to be looked at, health implication is to be looked at, and what is the issues in that aspect and impact. Both the issues are to be taken into consideration. Those are our real concerns for it. And air, the breathing air, the ambient air, the free air, let us be comfortable with that. Let it allow flow. Life flows, water flows, and air should be allowed to flow freely. This is the one of the thing. There should not be any boundary and all these things. And I'm happy. Day before yesterday, Madhukar Sahab was talking about that they are going to procure soda. I established everything on the soda when I realized until and unless we study the air pollution with reference to meteorology, particularly micrometeorological condition, we are not going to get the success. And Madhukar Sahab, I requested Madhukar Sahab to share that information too. To manage our environmental resources. That is the purpose of this for health security. This is the one of the aspect, and with regard to source control and with a sustainable approach. That is the thing. So the air, again I am coming to the air, it's a breathing air, it is going inside our body, inside our lungs, and when it flows through our blood, it may stuck, the particulates, the chemicals, the pollutants, that may insert or remain inside our bloodstream, even may enter and may cause death. But I am not really not known whether it can kill person. Of course, if we are breathing directly from the vehicular exhaust, that is different thing. But if it's ambient air, if it is a mixed air cannot kill human being. It makes curtain real. This is my personal thing. I don't believe that it is the killer, our illegal. I will come to that points also, how this dust is also beneficial, because we must know the plus and minus. Only negative things, it's not correct to go idly with the negative aspect. Next. Again, the quality, whenever we are talking about the quality, natural constituents, means a natural pattern of flow, natural ventilation we need to take care. People talk about the indoor air. I already told them, all the time I told them, look for the ventilation. Don't go for mechanical ventilation. Open your door and windows as much as possible. I used to tell my friends, because I have learned also biology also and virology also. Since February 1st, I keep on telling all my friends, the virus is on, and remain yourself ventilated. Don't keep yourself confined to an area. And that came true. Now the WHO has accepted, some 15 days back, they are also telling the same thing, that the more dilution is there, the more reduced problem is there. So it is like the same thing, that we need to think of these things. And to what is the natural constituent is very difficult to maintain the natural constituents of the air, but nature is maintaining without any man and machine. That is acceptable. That means nature can do it. And nature has the tremendous potential also to rectify the problems in the environment that COVID pandemic has also proved. That means the natural capacity is there. Only we are the problem. Those problems are required to be eliminated from the nature. Next. So the elements of management, if you come to this NCAP program, particularly when we are talking about the health security, we have to be health conscious, and COVID has already made it ourselves health conscious, and the source control, because source we are creating pollutant with investment of money. Again we'll be controlling this pollution, air pollution, again costs money. So duplication of investment of money really need to be looked into. Nature, our economic condition is not so good that we'll again invest for creation of the pollutant. Again we'll invest for cleaning the environment is not acceptable and cannot be a rational thing for a learned society like India. I don't agree to that thing. So we need to think of the process control, the raw material control, the mitigation problem, particularly the whatever the things, the handling of the material. The fugitive emissions are not taken into consideration. Industrial handling are not taken into consideration. Those aspects need to be taken care, and surely will and Maharashtra will be able to do it. The data variation, we cannot compromise the data. Somebody is coming with one setup in sampler, another is coming up cell samplers, and all the time there should be only one standard should be applied in India. Should not be any parallel government or parallel standard should move on and parallel instrument. If you want to do some experiment at the local level, do it for research purposes. But please do not insert that this is the knowledge that can be applied at the national level. And our geography is different, our lifestyle is different, our vegetation is different, and our land use pattern is different, industrial types are different. How this one formula can be adopted in the entire state, but the simple fundamental, the source has to be controlled, land has to be managed. Those are the real issues to be taken care of. Next. So the elements, if you look into the primary elements into the AQM source and receptor management, because we are talking about the reduction of the problem at the receptor end. That's why we are talking about the emission inventory. But again, here also we are doing the mistake. We are just calculating the amount of fuel being consumed, multiplied the emission factor. And whether it is valid for Indian condition, whether it is applied, same it should be applied in particular technology where it is being used, those are real issues of concern. Here the technology is required. Here the logics are required. Those things are required, really need to be taken. We are copying everything from the European countries and trying to push in our system. That is a real requirement is needed. The receptor modeling, again, whenever we are going for the receptor modeling, it can be 300, 500, 2000 times different. It is required to be calibrated for particular area with particular with meteorology, morphology, characteristic, land use, all the things are needed to. Same formula is being adapted. I am not criticizing really, because I had the opportunity to work with the Central Pollution Control Board, because I am also associated with the NCAP group, that is one group. So I am just able to think of this, what is our problem? I am criticizing me also. If I have done something wrong in the past, it is the time to rectification of the time. And the aspect of possible further development, that part is not being taken care. We are talking about the urban area, urban health, urban population. But what about the future? We have to move on. We have to move on in a sustainable way. That part is missing part. Really, Madhukar sir, this is also an important message, sir. Modak sir probably will also agree to me. This focus, where you should move, how to move ahead, all controlling things, pollution with good health. That's it. That is said to be the one of the mandate. Next. So emission inventory, again, we are talking about the emission inventory. It's a dynamic system. There are industrial areas, multiple types of fuels are used. Madhukar sir is aware of it. And we have worked on ETS also. Whenever we wanted to go, whenever we want for one inspection with some information, we went and found that another information is being done. So those are the things. The changing of the fuel always changes the emission inventory and its load. And fuel type and its composition, the adulteration is another problem. And it is because of the socio-economic figure, because it was done, we could not tell them that these are real issues, please do not that. And APCD, we are again, whenever we are talking about the emission control at source, this is back filter, this is GSP, this is percentage, reduction is possible. No, again, it will depend on the process control. And when it is a process control, again, it will vary. And those part, some thermal power plant, if it is 90% efficiency or something, the load, it can reduce. And if it is really working properly, how much is the load we are not taking into consideration? All these things, GIS mapping, grid-based map information is required, and door-to-door information. Once the baseline information is collected, then those are required to be monitored. This is one of my submission. Once we have the information, once we have regulatory rules, we must monitor them. What is your load? Once it is done and done it forever, we are going with the action plan, and on the other hand, somebody is increasing some of those aspects. Next. Receptor modeling. Receptor modeling, what we are, it is impact on our health, including myself. When we are talking about the receptor modeling, it will again depend on the transport of the pollutant. chemical transformation in between source to receptor, it will again vary with the distance. But we don't have the time to monitor everywhere really what is the concentration. And that's why emission inventory versus emission receptor, we never be able to match. We at least, I will show you with some results also in the future slide. So multiple sources are good. Tell you next. So the source apportionment study, again, if you see the outcome of the source apportionment is the source apportionment, chemical characteristic of the receptor. At the receptor end, what is? And really that is whether it's a toxic or not, we do not know. And say very soon we are going to get one formation of secondary particulate. And in Delhi also, you find 29%, 24% secondary particulates. And no action plan can be prepared. So if we are getting 100 ppm, 100 microgram per meter cube of PM10, it contains 24% of secondary particulate. And secondary particulates are not creating any problem. Rather, these are the micronutrients for the vegetation growth. It is making the soil beneficial. Then those portions should be reduced from the 100. Then it should be estimated what is the PM10 load. मोदक साहब बाद में बात करेंगे. Next. So, if possible for further development is scenario analysis in different seasons. Because we again have to remember that air pollution problem in India at large is seasonal. But people are making hue and cry, and they are making us real problem and creating in the social media, newspaper, the people are dying, it's a real problem of seasonal problem. And that we need to understand. The air pollution control management is a seasonal issue. Once is a seasonal, and we have to be careful only on those days. And we should be careful on those days so the business usual can be conducted. This is the important. And for the purpose, I would be suggesting regional mapping. And are ultimately the areas for future development. Because the higher the density, member secretaries have also told the same, higher the population density, higher the problem. And COVID also told that the higher the mortality, higher the infection. So about decentralization, de-urbanization is the time. Let's also see expansion, because we are investing so much of amount, so much of money. If we are not able to use this money for our future development, I think we will be doing injustice for our next generation. Next. So these are the overall scheme for our air quality management. We have to carry out what is the literature says and everything, but ultimately nobody is going to give us, this is a seasonal problem for us. I went home with many, all are dealing with the fabric, all with the exaggerated figures, and this much of people are dying and those days the economic loss. But at least I am not in the don't want to belong that school. I don't want to go follow someone. Let us be rational. Let us rethink the thing in our own way, in an Indianized way. Because the Western countries, they have all facilities, all aspects for the PM 2.5. The pollution means the PM 2.5. At least I don't want to agree, because everything is related. I will come to that point also. Everything is related to carbon. We should concentrate on carbon parallelly. We should start monitoring of elemental carbon in the atmosphere. Dust is not a problem for India. Again, I would like to push, and it cannot avoid dust because we are having less rainfall, our topsoil is dry, and we are not able to cover up with our topsoil. There's a real problem with us. Next. So non-attainments, already I'm not skipping this 17 areas in 102. but now we are having 122 cities across the country, but the same problem, same framework, same everything is same, the program is same. But the next is next. If you see, next slide, next, if you see all the areas, Madhukar Sahab has rightly pointed out that the activities, the more the activities, more the industrialization, more the urbanization, more the vehicle, the problem is more. Then we have to have decentralization approach. Very correct. We have to go for decentralized with good connectivity. We have to study here the economics. If we go live outside of your city, how much will be the time saving, how much your health saving, what your medical saving, and what will be the benefit of the environment. Those study is another important study, because we are not able to link our problem with the economics. This is the one aspect of the thing. But the thing is that this is the first time in the country this is being monitored at the political clearances are also there. People are also there, right from the secretary to the prime minister down to the district minister, all are involved in this program, and probably the first program in the country. And we must appreciate the approach and attitude of the government, so they are coming forward and with a timeline to reduce by 2024, we have to control the pollution to the tune of 20 to 30%. It's not a very big task. Once we really work only in the direction of the land management, we can achieve. We can achieve. Only land management control can achieve, plus decentralization. Let's next. So the first program, it is monitoring. I told you that there is a principal secretary, chief secretary is involved, district magistrate, right from our prime minister office to the secretary and environment to the all districts of 122 areas, all they are involved. Now what Ravinder Saab has told, we have to take the public and people along with us. Any program is meant for them only. If they are healthy, if we are able to make them participated, we are winner. And we will be called as warrior also, like Gitanjali. Next. The objective same, capacity building, public. Last point is the awareness and capacity. We should be capable. We should not take help of the European countries. They will only push you for PM 2.5 measure monitoring system or the low cost sensoring system. We don't need all these things. I strong believe that there should be one policy at the central level. Let the Central Pollution Control Board tell us what is to be done, and it is to be done in an integrated way. Next. So emission inventory of a typical Indian city, one of the example, I don't like to mention the name of the thing. Let's see the human contribution is how much and road contribution is how much. That's I told you 20 to 30% reduction of pollutants is not a problem for us. Just pay concentration on the land, and if you are able to manage our land, we can get the result of the thing. Because we cannot really compromise our economy, and we really kill our economy and the people. Only thing is the problem is the road, resuspended dust and transported dust. Maharashtra itself is facing having transported dust to the tune of 17%. Or in Maharashtra, and we are not able to back trajectory analysis. I have the information from almost all the cities. I had the opportunity closely with the State Pollution Control Board. Please concentrate on the local issues, real problem people are facing. Technology is not required only for the purpose. Household will be around 25 to 30% everywhere, let us also, because we cannot stop cooking our food. It is possible that we can change, and I was just thinking, day before yesterday I was talking to Madhukar Saab, if in a multi-storied building also, we can think of having common chimneys from all kitchens, that also further possible to reduce. We should think in that way so that domestic pollution can be reduced. Next. Now the thing is that as well that the hell and heaven difference between the source and the receptor. If we really source apartments, this thing, secondary aerosol is 19%. I told you about Delhi, it is 24%. That means whatever the negative ions being produced in our anthropogenic activities, those are being taken care by the natural positive ions. That means dust is helping us. And this, when it is helping us, it should not be a part of our PM10 on PM2.5. This is one of my submissions. We should tell, because once we know this is the contribution in different days, we must deduct those amount from the true concentration of our ambient air quality management. And again, in the source episode, 32% is coming from the road dust and construction. We are creating it, we are responsible for it. Thus, I told you, with this thing, we don't need technology. We need to really look into our local activities, what we can do. Once when I was in CPCB, I told, sir, I was talking, discussion with Secretary Mehta Sahab was the additional secretary. I was talking to them. Sir, I have a solution. What it is possible, Dr. Shah? Go for the artificial rain. And it was not workable. It is costly and it's not feasible. Then go for the water sprinkling of the roads. And that has become a practice. I don't want to accept that pollution control people will put on water on the roads. It is the duty of the municipalities. It is the duty of the PWD. They should maintain the road. And once it is done, this work is already, it is possible to do it on the thing. Next. So sustainable network is important, and that it should be evaluated locally. Let's look locally. What are the environmental resources we are having? What are the creative issues creating our problem? What are the issues can be easily resolved? And what are the critical areas we need to really look into and sit among the things? So if the people are coming forward with green grass, green top, we can reduce 20% of the pollutant in the atmosphere. 100% is possible. Regional transport policy, if it is done on circulation, we can reduce another 20%. I can see, I'm really happy that people are all working on these issues and people having the information, and really we need to go ahead the rethinking of the design. Whatever has been asked, we should go forward. We just take some pilot thing also. We will only control land, and 1 square inch of land will be with the green top, and see the pollution load there. And we'll see not a single biomass will be burned in that area. What will be the pollution? Those success stories are to be replicated. These are some real suggestion I wanted to pick out. Next. So the assessment tool, database should be strong. There should not be any compromise to our data. We cannot really, data should be good. Because if you are not having the correct quality of data, we cannot really problem. Because that's why I'm talking about the late SAP have one type of technology. Because until and unless we have to, until and unless we do that, really we cannot.
Sir,
yes. So next. Thank you all. So I'm sorry. I'm never mind. Please don't mind. Thank you so much all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saad. Wonderful to hear you. You actually brought very, very interesting interlink between our past, then our present, and also the recommendations. And I'm really hopeful that our member secretary sir is here, Dr. Modghare is here. We'll definitely take your recommendations into consideration. So thank you so much. And now I am very pleased to request Professor Dr. Prasad Modak for his address. He is an alumni of IIT Bombay and has a PhD in environmental engineering from Asian Institute of Technology, Bangkok. He was a professor with IIT Bombay from 1984 to 94, and currently also he is the adjunct professor with Sitara, and he is the executive director of Environmental Management Center and also heads eConnect Knowledge Foundation. And Dr. Modak happens to be, I don't know, the only person who's worked with the UN, with the World Bank, with the ADB. We can name any organization, and I'm very sure he must have guided, supervised, or must be associated in some capacity. So thank you so much, Dr. Modak. Whenever I have issues, I just go back to him, and I am so pleased with his smile, with his gentle and warm nature. He is like guiding. Gitanjali, it should be like that. So I'm so happy to have you, sir. And I would request you for your recommendations, because you've been very, very closely associated with most of the action plans. You are very much aware of the situation of Maharashtra. So thank you so much once again. I will give over to you now.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Am I audible, Gitanjali?
Yes, sir, you are perfectly audible. So you can.
All right, okay. So I would like to thank you, Dr. Shah, first, because your presentation was, I would say, very deep, very inspiring, and it put many perspectives which normally a scientist or an engineer doesn't look into. So I must say I enjoyed this presentation. That is the first point. I'm going to be giving a short presentation. I will like to broaden the scope because I'm looking the title as environmental quality, not just air quality. So although certainly air is one of our concerns, but the environment quality takes lots of more other things. That is one. The second is I would like to talk about a few things in this short talk, which may excite many of you, something new happening, which I think from the point of view, Mr. Ravindran and Dr. Modgare, you might like to look at some of these ideas, what MPCB, and I'm sure with partnership with the Alumni Association of IIT Delhi, like you said, you have a relationship now coming up, you might like to look at it. So let me take you very quickly through my slides and let me know whether you can see them. Is it okay?
Yes, sir, it's okay. Yes, everyone can see it. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
So I'm going to talk about 5 key points. So it's really, I'm centering to these 5 points as a focus. The first statement I'm making is that the managing urban environmental quality, it is a complex subject. And I'll elaborate on each of these points as we go along. It's not easy to manage urban environmental quality. The second element is that the urban challenges cannot be addressed anymore if we limited the scope only to the administrative boundaries of the city. We got to think about going beyond those boundaries. I think many of you know the problems in Delhi air pollution has been on a regional scale, so regional airshed thinking, taking account of the peri-urban development, which is also important, brings in cities like Mumbai, millions of people in and out every day. So our boundaries of solving the problem will have to go beyond the administrative boundaries. We talked about air, but I think we got to think bigger in terms of how do we bring in climate change considerations in our city level action plans. This has been the strategy now in many cities, that while we build the air quality action plans as coming out or mandated from the programs like NCAP, what you would notice is many of the Chinese cities, as an example, because I had an opportunity to work quite intensively in Beijing, and you find that the airshed concept and bringing in climate change by adding measurement of the short-lived climate pollutants in the monitoring network, people have brought the idea of climate change consideration. to build those adaptation plans which are infrastructure oriented. So give you example that when Beijing made a pledge to make blue sky, they related air quality to urban infrastructure and borrowed money to build the infrastructure and the clean fuel policy and propagation of clean technology. And that made a business sense to everybody. Air quality improvement was a consequence. Whereas our approach has not been as strategic as what you see, which is picked up in many of the other cities, not just China, but is very important. The next point is that cities will have to follow circular principles. That is, they have to become self-sufficient. I think the message we're getting from the Prime Minister also, when we talk about Atmanirbharta, cities will have to become Atmanirbhar. And in our constrained period of the COVID lockouts, we did go through the constrained lifestyle and had to manage in what we have, what we could do in the cities, and circularity or the term circular cities is very, very important. I would request MPCB to launch a program on circular cities. It is, and also expand your present 17 cities action plans, air quality action plans, to include climate, and let us do what Surat has done, for example, to make the city climate resilient. So this is actually a very opportunistic approach, which again takes us to the point of environmental quality. And most important, we have never involved people in making the plans. These are made by institutions like IIT Bombay or NIRI, but not necessarily involving the public. This is the key, extremely important, that you got to have a participatory process in place, simultaneously build capacities. And there's a very interesting program running from UNESCO called Learn. And the Learning Cities idea, I will again request MPCB to look at it, that how do we bring in people on board? How do we involve them? And it resonates to what Dr. Saha talked about. It is very important that we have people involved on what we are planning for them. So this is the example what I mean by complexity. When we talk about environmental quality, not just air, and again in air, remember that NCAP is pretty weak on indoor air quality, where we spend 70–60% of our time. NCAP doesn't look into it. Improving outdoor air quality doesn't mean indoor air quality is going to be better. And then the objective of NCAP is ultimately health of people. And how can we miss indoor air quality? And when we are monitoring air quality monitoring, I know Dr. Modgare has already taken up this, is to do the health surveys. Health surveys should be a part of the monitoring program, which I would say MPCB is one of the few boards who has put attention to it. And I think what I suggest you, Dr. Modgare, is you should really influence the other state boards, how you are thinking, and involving many of the important health institutions in your activities. So I'm just highlighting, dissecting the term air quality. But then, MS sir, you talked about waste, very important issue. Noise, we don't talk about it, we take it for granted, very important issue. Water, and the green part, the biodiversity, the green cover, the lungs of the city. This is only a few elements of the complexity of urban environmental quality. And this is something which we have to keep in mind. It's very, very important. So managing in urban environmental quality, therefore, is a complex. Now, this is something exciting. I want to tell you, Dr. Modgare and Ravindran sir. How do we measure environmental status of a city? So Dr. Modgare will say, measure PM 2.5, measure PM 10. Dr. Saha will add more, and air quality ka list bada ho jayega. Water quality, you'll say so much to be measured. I will generate a lot of data. You will make an air quality index. You will make a water quality index. What is now coming up? It has come up big time. It's called emotional cartography. Emotions of the people are your indicators of the city's environment. It is mapping society exercise. So what is done, that is a mobile app is developed. Dr. Modgare, I would really like you to do it. In the morning, the app will ask me, Dr. Modak, how is your day going to be? Aaj ka aapka kya expectation hai? And I'll say, this is what I want to do. At the end of the day, if you ask me before I sleep, how was your day? I'll say, boss, too noisy, too much crowding in the local train, pani nahi mila, I will start cribbing about it. That is the emotion. And this is how, example, is city of London. This is the mapping of Londoners' emotions. That is what a regulator like you, Ravindran sir, you want to know where is the problem. And these different colors mean something different of emotions. So this is called emotive cartography. This is something, please do it. Make first city of this state which will do emotive cartography. I'm not saying don't measure air quality, required, but that is still not enough. We got to get to the minds of people, how they look at this city. I spoke about go beyond the boundaries. And I think that is the important message, that regional thinking, enveloping around the city boundary is very important. We have to go beyond city limits. Now, this can be an administrative challenge. And, you know, a professional, seasonal administrator like you, Ravindran sir, you are aware. How do you engage with the boundaries once you cross? But therefore, you need a coordination approach. That's what many cities have done. And they have gone beyond the administrative limits of the city. It's very important, particularly for air, as you know. Much of the Hong Kong's air pollution is coming from China, mainland China. More than 40% of the air emission transport to Finland is happening from other countries. So even if the Finnish government makes great air pollution policies, the quality is not going to improve unless you go beyond the administrative limits. But then what I would suggest to you, Dr. Mudgare, Dr. Saha, we have to come up with a clear-cut methodology. No more talking. Talking is okay. Now you have to tell how should Mumbai, how should Pune, how should Nagpur exactly do it, and what should be the tools used, how to use it. So that's the important message I wanted to give. Now look at the climate perspective. Very important. 70% cities have been documented that they have dealing with the challenge of climate change. Over 90% urban areas are coastal. We are coastal in sitting in Mumbai. So therefore, bringing in climate considerations so that you make our actions climate resilient, that is the key. Extremely important. So please let us make some climate resilient cities in the state of Maharashtra. Now, look at we call the word here as urban metabolism. You keep spewing out waste and you keep consuming resources. And they travel long distances. So recycling, remanufacturing, refurbishing, the waste management done in a manner of putting it back, right? We call this as a circularity. And the circular principles become extremely important. If we don't look at those circularity principles, then we get into unattainable sustainability. Very difficult to get sustainability if we don't bring in circularity. How do you bring circularity? What can be the role from Maharashtra Pollution Control Board? What can they contribute in what I sometimes say, pushing the wheel of circularity? Somebody has to push that wheel, roll that wheel. Let MPCB, for example, take this initiative to make circular cities. Last slide. As I was talking, we have to have participation. Participation involvement is crucial. Let me tell you a story here, Dr. Mudgare. Years back, I'm telling you 1985, when RCF in Chembur used to release ammonia, used to get in early morning an ammonia smell. There used to be complaints. RCF was looked at not in a good way by citizens of Mumbai. So I remember that time, if you remember this name, Y.R. Pakala was the general manager. And I said, Pakala Sahab, can you fund me 500 dust jars? And I took those dust jars under RCF sponsorship. And in Shivaji Park, I invited people, come here and take home a dust jar. The condition was you must appear in front of me after 2 weeks with that dust jar, with a lid. And we'll weigh and tell you what is the dust load in your area. This is 1985, no sensors, no continuous monitoring. No, even high volume sampling was done by car laboratory of BMC those days. And people came after 2 weeks. And we made a plot of dust fall in Mumbai. And we published it in Indian Express. and there was so much discussion. And the whole interest telling that managed dust in the construction of the projects came up that time. Moment you participate, work with people, you get different ideas, you get their support, and therefore I will call participatory involvement crucial. There are four keywords. The regulator must listen. The academic institutions must help in analysis. The social scientists must come in to do dialogues. And people like you, Dr. Modghare, are action people. We have to bring all of you together and make the city as learning cities. That is the way it is. Action plan banaya, nothing is going to happen. We all know in heart of our hearts that these are documents we have created. Heart of our hearts. If I were to ask you, chhati pe haath rakh ke bolo, you will also agree with me. We have done a good exercise of making plans. I'm not negative here. By no means look at my remark as negative. But unless you think 360 degrees, rounded, participatory, make people involved. Like Dr. Saha, you said, use science, but you also don't forget traditions, like what you mentioned right in the beginning. We need for this champions. We need to create champions who will go mad. They will go mad to make the city a livable city. They take this as a mission. We have people, not that we don't have such people. But you as MPC, we should inspire them. Come up with programs where you elevate them, support them. Then you see the change will happen. Sorry, I was longer than 2 minutes than I thought, but for listening to me. Thank you, Gitanjali.
Sir, I can see to eat food for a day, sir. You are always motivating for us. So I'm happy, sir, with you, sir. Today I'm really blessed.
Thank you, sir. With your suggestion, with member secretary sir permission, we can associate with you on launch of some of the programs.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for a very, very enlightening and very, very engaging talk. And I hope the seniors from MPCB will take note of your recommendations and suggestions. Thank you so much once again. And in my vote of thanks, I would like to propose that we had a meeting with the city stakeholders on 26th of June under the supervision of Dr. Modak. So we had cities of Nasik, we had Pune, we had Thane, and we had Ahmedabad along with experts from WRI and others. So we had a discussion, and the cities told us that we need some lectures so that we can have knowledge, so that we can better plan the initiatives under NCAP, and we understand exactly what we are doing and what is the use of it. So that was Professor Modak. So he took this initiative and he brought everyone on a common platform. So we had one session where we were there. So I requested sir that okay, now we have done with this exercise. So this was a suggestion that I took to Dr. Modghare sir and my association, that this is a series that we can come up, and because we have experts everywhere, but somehow that connect was missing, that the experts they come, but the knowledge is not going back to the cities. So somehow we were able to today launch this. So I'm very happy, and we will be like taking up one issue each month. So we have experts who have confirmed. We have from University of Surrey, Dr. Professor Prashant Kumar. So he is an expert on urban green spaces. We have Pallavi Pant also from DRI US. We also have Dr. Goel from NEERI. He'll be talking on industrial emissions. We have here also Dr. George again from NEERI. He'll be talking about road dust. We have other experts also. We have Dr. Ahmed from IIT Dhanbad. So we'll have one theme each month, and the expert will deliver. And in a way, we'll also try to catch up the cities on with their progress, because it's very difficult these days, because we are not able to physically meet. So we are not able to catch the cities and to check how much they are doing. So we'll do that exercise also once each month. And after we finish with this series of 10 to 12 lectures, we'll have a conclave, as our president mentioned already. So we'll try to see how much the cities have progressed after this expert series. So this was all from us, and I would once again would like to thank the president of our association, the member secretary from MPCB, Dr. Modgare sir, experts Dr. Saha, Professor Modak, for being with us, the city chapters Mumbai and Pune of our association, the president Mr. Ravindra Kumar, secretary Ms. Jyotsna Chugbareja, we have our National City Chapter Convener, Mr. Kalpen Shukla, and our secretary from Mumbai and Pune Chapter, Gaurav Goyal and Poonam Lade, Dr. Updesh Verma and Dr. Ijaz Ahmed from IIT Dhanbad. So they have provided support in terms of organizing this webinar. So I'm very, very thankful on behalf of the association, and we are very, very pleased today to have the dignitaries among us and the participants from the cities, NEERI, MPCB regional offices are also, I can see them here. And I am very sure that together we will definitely make a difference. So once again, very, very warm, sincere, heartful thanks to everyone. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.